A company named Silber's Bakery did a set of Baltimore Colts cards back in the 1940s, the 1949 set. And here's some of the cards here. This came out in Football Cards Plus in the autumn of 2004. Here's a picture of then Atlanta Falcon Michael Vick on the cover of that. There's another one who kind of crashed and burned with his dogfighting business. Another piece we did on the P.H. Mayo set. Here's the rare anonymous card again. This came out in spring of 2005, also in Gridiron Greats. And here's some Grange issues that are very hard to find. This is the Donut Company of America, Grange, and here's some Grange on the match covers, as well as this rare Spanish card. And also a relatively new Throwback Threads card for Grange. We did this piece in the summer of 2005, also for Gridiron Greats. Then we varied things a little bit and found another outlet in the fall of 2005. This is SCG, Sports Guarantee Company. Sports Card Guarantee Company has a magazine, the fall of 2005. They did a piece on the Admiral Rams. This is a 1950 set of Los Angeles Rams football cards that are very rare and very nice to look at. Kind of thin, but decent collectibles. And we also published the same article with some variations in Gridiron Greats right about the same time, the autumn of 2005. Then we stumbled across, Carl did actually, this Before They Were Packers bit. These are studio photographs of the Green Bay Packers, or people who were eventually to become Green Bay Packers, that we found. They're kind of postcard size, really interesting collectible. This came out in the winter of 2006. Then we did a follow-up in the summer of 2006, also about the Green Bay Packers set, and how they are very interesting and where the pictures that were on the cards came from. Following that, we did this Jones Rich Dairy bit that you've seen also in Beckett Collectibles. This came out, and we got a cover on this one, so it was very nice. These are these rare cards that would appear on the milk carton that you could cut out and collect, as well as milk caps for Jones Rich one, that's the milk caps, and Fairmont Dairy, which were the cards. Then there's a piece here about we did for Gridiron Greats about the Silber's cards, which we've already mentioned, and some of the candy cards that we're also very interested in because they're just great collectibles. And then there was comic books from the 1940s and 50s that people had collectibles in. There's these pages that also came in newspapers. Here's Don Hudson in one and Otto Graham in another. These comic book ads are highly collectible and very, very interesting. They came out in a whole different set of comic books throughout the 40s and 50s. It ran from 1945 to 55, and we find those kinds of things endlessly fascinating. Carl found a postcard with Pop Warner and Jim Thorpe together on it when Thorpe was playing for Carlisle. We did a piece on that in the winter of 2008 for Gridiron Greats. And then later on, we came across a man. His name is John Dunlop, or Richard Dunlop. The grandson of John Dunlop got in touch with me and said, I just came across this thing that shows that my grandfather was the subject of a rare football card. In the spring of 2010, I had traveled to San Diego, California, and met with Richard Dunlop and went over some of his family memorabilia, and he had some things to show us. A very nice gentleman, photographs of, here's John Dunlop, the football player, at the helm of his yacht, and one of John Dunlop's yachting trophies. And we had a wonderful chat. Apparently he had never seen the card and does not have a copy of it, but was fascinated to know that his grandfather was one of the pioneers of football and the subject of that rare football card. And here's Richard with a picture of his grandfather's football card. And this was in the Sports Guarantee Collector magazine as well. Later on, I did a piece, and with Carl's help, on some newspaper ads, or actually newspaper collectibles, that appeared in the local newspaper here in Oregon, the Eugene Register Guard. And I did this for Greener and Greats. It's a perfectly interesting collectible that people, I think, when this kind of stuff appears in your local newspaper, you need to cut it out and collect it. You never know when it's going to be valuable. And then in 2001, if you recall correctly, there was a football league founded by Vince McMahon and family called the XFL, the Extreme Football League. They had a card set that Topps issued, and it was quite interesting, I thought. Another one instance where they produced so many of the cards, they're hardly valuable at all. But there were some interesting collectibles, and the cards themselves are quite fascinating, despite the fact that they're not much in the way of value. Then some of our later stuff we've done on the exhibit football cards. These are things that came in machines back in the turn of the century, right up until the 1970s. You'd get these giant size. They had a football card set in the 40s and 50s that is very valuable and quite nice to look at. The cards would come tinged in different colors, and that's why the article has all the colors of the rainbow on it. We've also done some things on the Canadian Football League, and this is one of the more recent examples of it, our Canadian card issues. And here's our electronic version of our book that we had advertised in Gridiron Greats. It was very nice of them to do that. So what we have here is the culmination of 20 plus years of football card writing and research. Here's our book, authored by myself, Mike Bonner, and Carl Lamendola of New York. This is the 2001-3 edition, and as you can see, it's just chock full of information. It runs about 60,000 words, published by BookLocker, but it's available on Amazon and other retail book outlets. Here's the frontispiece with the picture of Harry Beecher on it in the first football card from the old Judge cigarette set. And our dedication, we've got it divided into table of contents, early football cards, the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, with an introduction, and it's heavily illustrated with lots of representative cards. There's the chief poet of professional football, Vince Lombardi, on a 1990 scorecard. And you'll find all kinds of treasures in here. We've made sure that all of our writing in this is brought up to date. The prices that we mention in here are current prices. And we've done a lot of work on making this the finest possible product for avid football card collectors, whether they're beginners or that they've been around for a while, veteran collectors. It's meant for everyone. We weave the history of the sport in with the cards and do our best to make this an entertaining and informative product for collectors of all ages. Thank you for your time and attention.